Story time from the farm when I was a kid. The early 70s, we didn't have devices then. You were turned loose in the morning and you're cut off your t-shirt and your running shoes and expected to return home for dinner. Small town, 3,000 people. It's sort of divided into four quadrants, if you will, as far as the kids were concerned. I'm just concerned with the two northern quadrants here, one being what was referred to as the farm kids. That was our 60-acre farm and the kids who lived around it. The northwest corner. On the northeast corner were the wartime kids living in wartime housing. Now these groups were further separated with a north-south dividing line because there were two public schools, believe it or not, in the small town. So we didn't really know the wartime kids and they didn't really know us, right? So the back of the farm, there was a cedar bush to the wartime. So the cedar bush was the wartime kids area, the farm was the farm kids area. And they were starting to build a bypass route. They'd taken and just bulldozed the dirt off to make a road across the back of the farm as a bypass route. So that's not quite a road yet. It was sort of like the Romulan neutral zone from Star Trek. You know what I mean? We didn't cross into the wartime kids area very often. They didn't cross into ours very often. Problem was they'd come over, as did the town kids from the southern quadrants, try and ride the horses and the ponies. Can't have that, right? So it's a hot summer day and one of the older girls comes from the back of the farm. She's been on her horse and she reports the wartime kids are encroaching on the back of the farm. So myself and my three buddies, Dad called us, you and your crew, well, we have to go to the defense, right? So we go out, we go sneaking down the fence line that, makes a T intersection through the middle of the field where the wartime kids are encroaching upon the zone. There's a scout up the tree, up a dead elm tree, Dutch elm disease. And there's 6 kids. And they've crossed out of their zone and across the neutral zone and are flirting along the fence line, kind of coming over the fence. There's no horses around. But the problem is, there's 7 of them and 1 in the tree as a scout. There's only 4 of us. Ooh. So, something must be done. We formulated a plan. We had the rock fence line to arm ourselves with, so we did. We filled our little cut-off jeans with pockets with stones, and we went out in the grass along about 70 yards and made 3 piles of stones each. And our theory was we had the element of surprise, superior weaponry. We had all these stones, and we were working in the tactic of deception as well. Our theory was we'd pop up screaming all simian like, throw some stones down in the grass, take off your cap, pop up at the next pile, etc., up with a t-shirt off. Well, it worked, in part because the kids were caught off guard, well, the enemy troop, and they really couldn't come up with any weaponry. The road hadn't been graveled yet. It had just been scraped off by a bulldozer, so pretty quickly we drove them back into their territory, into the cedar bush, where we knew they could not come up with any decent weaponry. It's just what's in a cedar bush on the ground. Cedar needles, and there's no branches to speak of on the trees. They did their best to arm themselves. They made a comeback, but 2 of them had fled in the initial fuselage. So now there was only 5 of them to our 4. They made a brave go of it, but again, we had far superior weaponry. We routed them and proceeded to chase them. We crossed the neutral zone, and yes, we'd made forays into their cedar bush. We knew there was nothing in there they could really get a hold of. One tried to rally the troops as they fled, but it was a total rout. He had to give up. They fled. As I say, we'd been in their territory before. We admired they had a stream running through the bush, but we knew our technology was superior to theirs. We could tell by their inferior fort building. We were a superior troop. Troop referring to troop of baboons. I think you see my point. Anyways, we emerged victorious out into the neutral zone, only to find the scout was still up the tree. He hadn't fled. So we went over and we're like, hey kid, what's your name? He was mute. Wouldn't say anything. So of course, what were we left to do? We pelted him with rocks. He still wouldn't speak. We retreated a little bit. This left us a bit dumbfounded. So we thought, okay, we'll put a concerted effort onto him. He's going to cover his head with his hands and his arms, you know. You take his hands, you take his wrists and elbows, I'll take his knees, you take his ankles. He's up in the tree just in his cutoff shorts. Oh, we wailed away on him. We figured he's either going to talk to us or he's going to cry. Well, we couldn't make him cry. This left us daunted. We retreated once again, right? Oh, he must be as tough as nails. I'd have cried by now. Would you have cried by now? Oh, I'd have cried long before now. How about you? Oh, I'd have cried the first fuselage, you know?
You big meanie.
Oh, yeah, well, hey. We're a little simian troop. What are you talking about? We're 10-year-old boys. So, having decided we couldn't make him cry, we came to the conclusion that he must be one tough nut. What if the rest are as tough as he is? What if they've gone back, rallied, and come with more? Ooh, we've emptied our pockets on this poor guy up the tree, right? So, victorious, but now concerned that maybe we've antagonized a bigger enemy, or a more dangerous one than we thought, we retreated. Kind of an anticlimactic story to it, or to the story. To this day, the kid up the tree, I don't know his first name. I've always known him as Rocky. Well, whether it was from the day he was up the tree or not, I don't know. Anyways, that's the story of the little troop of monkeys. We won. Oh, oh, oh.